this is Valerio Sinatra. You're watching the 5T podcast, Techno and Talk on Tuesdays and Thursdays with Ty.
Alright everybody, welcome to another episode of Techno and Talk on Tuesdays and Thursdays with Ty, the 5T podcast. Thank you all for spending some more time with us. This week, we have a very special guest, direct from Rome, Italy. I'll let him introduce himself. Who are you and how did you end up in Stockholm's techno scene?
Alright, thank you for having me, first of all. Cheers. So my name is Valerio Sinatra. Like I said, I'm from Rome. I've been traveling a little around the world, Australia, Netherlands, some other countries in Europe, and then I ended up here in Stockholm a couple of years ago, kind of by mistake, I think, but liking it, so it's not a mistake, it's good.
Okay, but when you say by mistake, how do you mean?
You really want to know how?
Well, yeah.
I'll cut long story short. I booked the flight to Stockholm in my sleep. Yeah.
Really by accident?
Yeah, I was dreaming that I was on holiday on this Greek island and traveling, and I was waking up and falling asleep again multiple times. And in the dream I remember that I opened the phone and I opened Skyscanner and bought a flight. Then when I woke up I actually found a confirmation email saying, thanks for booking with us your trip to Stockholm. I was like, what? Yeah.
Did you know anyone in Stockholm there?
No. The same night I booked that flight, I met a girl from Stockholm after I booked it. And I wanted to cancel the flight, and then I met her and I said, no, this is a sign, I have to go. And then I moved there. Yeah.
What was this like what was this, in like a club or something like that?
Well, I was DJing in it's under a monument in Amsterdam called NDSM, and it's inside a bunker, really amazing place. And yeah, I just met her there and we start talking and say, oh, now you gotta come to Stockholm. Yeah.
All right, so let me get this right. You were at home sleeping.
Yeah, I was waking up and sleeping.
Yeah, and you thought you had dreamt that you made a booking to Stockholm?
Yeah.
And then when you woke up, you realized that you had booked something to Stockholm?
Yeah.
And then you didn't cancel it right away?
No, I wanted to, but I didn't.
Okay, and then you realized you left it like that, and then you met a girl that night that was from Stockholm?
That's right.
Wow, that's pretty fucking incredible. Do you still have contact with her?
No, not really. I've seen it only once while I was here the first time on holiday, because actually the trip was only for 3 days for the weekend. So we had a dinner together and we met once in a party, but yeah, we don't really keep in touch.
Okay.
No.
So what did you do when you first got here?
On the first night, I met another girl, and always the girls, yeah. And also my one of my business partner, Nick. I met them both on the first night I was here.
Really?
And I started talking business with Nick. I came here to meet him to talk about making some techno events together. And then at the same time I was dating this girl from Sollentuna. And then I was like, okay.
Wait. So that's the same girl that you met in Italy? Or?
No, it was another one.
Okay, so now we have to go back now.
Let's do it.
So then you met the first girl, and she convinced you, yes, you have to come to Stockholm.
Yeah.
Where did you meet the
Just
second?
as a friend, not a girl.
But where did you meet the second girl?
On the first night, 1 hour after I checked in the hotel, I went to Event Tuset because I searched like on Google techno party Stockholm or Sweden, and I found techno state Sweden. So I went to message the Facebook page, and Nick replied, and I was like, oh, actually it was his birthday.
Oh wow.
I was like, you should come to the party. I was like, okay, let's check it out. And he invited me for the pre-party, having a dinner with his family and friends, and I never met him before.
Wow.
Yeah, and when I went there, I met him, his crew, and what became my girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, future ex-girlfriend.
She was at Nick's birthday party.
Yeah.
Nick Saros for everyone.
Nick Saros, yeah.
Yeah. But did you know anybody at all in Stockholm? You knew no one?
No one.
Wow.
Zero. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, but you were doing techno parties before that?
Yeah, many years.
Okay. When did you start doing parties?
Since I was really young, but professionally as a full-time job, I would say 7 years ago, roughly.
Okay, but even before that, because I like to get down to the real core.
I've been
How
doing
did you
parties
start out?
since I'm a little kid, or gathering friends to just go out and go in the streets. And then the first home parties, maybe I was like 15, 16.
Okay, and this is in Rome?
Yeah, that was in Rome.
Okay.
Like in a really small underground, like a canteen where people store bikes and wines. I had the first CDJ Pioneer 100s, Technics 2000, 1200, couple of destroyed speakers,
Yeah.
and like about 20-30 people having the first drinks.
And was it techno from the beginning? Or?
It was more house, I think.
Okay.
I was more into house, electronic music, French electro, Daft Punk style, Kaminski, Then the transition, it put me like closer to tech house, and then in the end, in the last 5 years maybe, I went to like fully to the dark side. Yeah.
All right, so you said you were about 13, you said?
Doing the first ever party I did, I was 14 years old exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, with the DJing equipment and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where was it? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was a friend's birthday in the suburbs in Rome. Really dodgy place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Was it like dodgy, like dangerous, or what?
Yeah, where I come from, it's like that. It's not really a nice place.
Okay, it's like gangster, or is it like what?
It's not like the gangster mafia thing lifestyle. It's more like poor people in a poor suburb,
Yeah.
So there's not like big gangster luxury car. It's more people on the streets.
It's dangerous to walk around. They might rob you or something.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, you said you'd been in Australia.
Yep.
How'd you get from? Was it Rome to Australia? Were there stops in between?
Before Australia, I went 6 months. I went 4 years in North Italy. When I was 18, when I was 22, I went to Australia, and I've been in Melbourne for 5 years, almost. Yeah. So.
Okay. First, sorry, I missed that. You said from Italy you went to Australia.
Yeah.
That was the first time that was the first place at least where you went, where you were doing parties.
Professionally, yes.
Okay. What was it like in Australia?
Hot. 40 degrees, 45. It's
Really?
a lot of beach parties, a lot of boat parties also. They were really popular. A lot of open air. Also club nights, but really a lot of, they call it doof. Doof party. Because the music from far is like doof,
doof, doof.
And in Australia, they call it doof party. Yeah.
Fantastic.
They don't call it rave or underground. Everything is a doof party. Yeah.
But then how long were you in Australia for?
Almost 5 years.
Okay, so from what year to what year?
It was 2012 till 2017, I think,
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah. And then you were doing the diff parties in Australia, and then how'd you end up in Amsterdam?
After 5 years in Australia, I went back home for a few months because I didn't see my family in the first 4 years of time at all. Okay. So I stayed a few months with my mother, my father, my sister for a while. Then from there I went to meet a friend to stay there a couple of months. Then I kind of liked it, and the music scene, the techno scene in Amsterdam is great, you know. So I decided to stay a little bit longer. They have a lot of festival awakenings. They have 80, and I was in Amsterdam till I booked this random flight to Stockholm. Yeah.
Why do you think you decided to just? Where did that come from? You think?
To go to Stockholm?
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes we do things we don't really know why we do them. You know.
Yeah.
Sometimes things just happen.
Yeah.
So it was cool. Happy that I did it.
What were you doing in Amsterdam at the time? Were you like doing parties, or did you feel like you needed to leave? Was there something dragging
I
you
actually
away?
took a break.
Okay.
Yes. I did in Amsterdam, let's say, 1 year where I took a break from the music scene completely. I was doing like a normal daytime job. I was working in a restaurant. And after 1 year working in these restaurants, I used to change job really quickly. I start working with a local crew, quite small but really good.
Before we go any further, what were you doing in the restaurants? Were you chefing?
Chef.
Okay. Are you like a trained chef, or just like I can do this, so I'm gonna do it? I'm gonna make Italian food like my mama.
Yeah, something like that. I actually studied stuff also on my own, not with a school.
Okay.
So I'm not a professionally trained chef, but I was lucky enough to work with a lot of highly skilled chefs, so they teach me quite a lot.
Okay.
So I'm not professional, but I'm okay. Oh.
So were you chefing, or were you doing parties, or a little bit of both in Amsterdam at the time?
I was mostly chefing in the first year. And then the second year I kind of wake up one day and I said, okay, I'm ready to be back. And I start managing this club. It's quite well known. It's called Paradiso. They had artists like Prince, for example, to perform there. It's a really iconic venue.
You said Prince?
Prince? Yeah.
That's my hero, you know.
No, I didn't know. Now I know.
He's one of the reasons why I'm the person I am.
Okay, yeah, so you like his music?
I love his music. I love his image. I like that dude is like, one of my idols.
Yeah, I remember my father playing his music in the car all the fucking time.
Fantastic.
Can we say fucking?
Yeah, we can say fuck.
Okay.
Fuck. All the time. Sorry. So you're working at this club as a chef, and then you move into doing clubs?
No, I was working in a restaurant as a chef, and at the same time I start managing this venue.
Okay.
Actually, this record label. It's a Dutch record label. They do techno strictly. And they did label nights in this venue. So when they had the venue hosting the night, I was managing the venue for them. From there, thanks to I think the music scene in general in Amsterdam, I ended up working with AD, Amsterdam Dance Event. I did a tiny part of the program, really little, compared to the big festival they have. I had to manage quite a small and humble venue, but it was amazing. It's just a life experience.
Yeah, I've heard. What do you think not including the stuff you've done in Sweden so far, but what would you think is like your most, like, the thing that you remember the most from doing those types of parties?
You mean in Amsterdam or in general? In Amsterdam?
To this point that we're talking about, both in Australia and in Amsterdam, what do you think you remember the most? Like, what was the most exciting, extraordinary thing that you did?
It was amazing to do festivals, especially in Australia. The last couple of years I was working with a really big company. They had a 35,000 people festival, and the vibe in Australia really hectic. Like people, it's really vibrant, it's really happy, it's really friendly. So walk in a festival with all these people, and you feel the energy and the vibe, and you see thousands of people dancing, walking, connecting. It's amazing.
And what was the name of the club in Australia?
The first one, it's La Dida. The first one ever, La Dida.
La Didi, La Didi. That like La Dida?
Musical name, yeah.
Oh wow.
So really, it's actually not that small of a venue. All up is 1,000 people venue, but I rented only the first room on the right, which is the smallest, for like 200 people, you know.
So you rent? That's how they work it. That you have to rent that room for yourself, or?
Well, that's how I got it the first time, because I didn't know how they work. I just went there and say, "Oh, I like this place. Can I rent it?" So this guy said, "Sure," and I did my thing, my party. And it went good, because we sold out. I don't even know how. I didn't even know all these people. I just remember that the voice went around, and in the Little Italy, everyone started talking about it.
Little Italy in Australia.
In Australia,
that's
like,
a Little Italy.
In Melbourne, yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And my party became quite popular in the Italian community.
Okay.
There were a lot of Italians, and I remember the owner was like, "Oh yeah, you should bring your community." I was like, "My community? I don't have a community."
It's just me.
Yeah, exactly. I was putting posters in the Little Italy, you know, like Lygon Street is called, not Little Italy, but
it's what it is down there. Yeah.
It is what it is. Yeah.
So then that's where it all started then.
Pretty much, yeah. I never had a lot of money in my life, and when with the first party I've seen not much, but more than one, it's more than zero, you know. And then I say, okay, I don't have to work in a restaurant, and I can do this instead. And that's when I started putting myself to do it professionally.
Okay. And then did we talk about how you actually, the reason why you went to Amsterdam?
The reason why I went to Amsterdam,
was it like you met a girl that was Dutch, or?
No, actually it's another crazy story.
Okay.
When I was a kid in school, we had to write in English to someone outside of Italy to practice the writing. And I've sent this letter to someone in North Europe that she replied like, "Hey, my name is, thanks for writing me, my family, blah, blah," and never replied back. And then one day I was like kind of lost in my life. I was in Italy after leaving Australia, thinking what I'm gonna do next. I was like, I have no idea. And then I found this letter in my bedroom after years, and I was like, oh, you know what, I feel like I've been really impolite with this person, you know. She put so much love to write it, and I said I have to reply.
10 years later.
Yeah. And actually I tried to search on Facebook first of all this person and to contact, and I couldn't. And then I said I need to go to North Europe to actually deliver my handsome personally, and that's why I came up here.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's why you went to Holland,
Yeah, that was supposed to be just a step in between, but then he stayed with me, you know, for a couple of years. Yeah.
Did you actually meet this person?
Nope, I didn't find her.
Wow.
Yeah, they moved away years ago, and yeah.
What was her name?
Oh, good question.
Alright, so now you're in the Netherlands because of this girl that you remembered, that you knew, that you wanted to actually deliver. Yep. Okay. And then you start working on all these different festivals and all the rest of these things.
Yeah.
All right. And then you make that booking and you come to Sweden. What was your first impression of Stockholm? I can assume that you were impressed, because it's like out of nowhere some random dude is like, yeah, come to my birthday party and all the rest of these things.
I was really impressed that someone that I never met in my life invited me to his birthday party with his family and friends. So if you're watching, thank you, Nick. It was really kind of him, you know. It was quite an experience, and he was super friendly. He didn't even know anything about me, and when I was there, he was like, okay, I introduce you everybody, introduced me like all his friends, the family, and I say, oh, look after this guy, he just arrived, didn't know anything about me. And he was super nice, and I was like, wow, who is this guy? And then I met also like my future ex-girlfriend, and she was super nice also. So the first night I was like, oh my god, the people here is amazing, super friendly. I was expecting cool people, that's what everyone says, you know, and I see these Swedish people, and they're like super open, super friendly. I'm like, I'm in Sweden. It feels like I was in Italy almost, you know?
Yeah.
It was crazy, yeah.
What are you up to these days? That concept.
We are doing a lot of international bookings at the moment. We did already a couple of events after the pandemic. Then we had to stop again for obvious reason. After all this confusion, chaos, fake news, conspiracy, is it real? Is now? Are we dying? Are we alive? What the fuck is going on? I just needed to start over. I wanted to do events, and I really needed to reset my life to start trying to find balance with a normal lifestyle. Yeah. And that's why we came up with a concept. We decided to go big. We got a Slack 2 set, Quarteret, U7, and Slack Chirkan. All of them open at the same time. People can buy a ticket, we'll give a wristband, and with this wristband you get access to all the 4 venues. We have Chris Liebing headlining the festival.
Love that dude.
Super legend, man.
Love that dude.
And we have NTO also. This guy is amazing. It's he made tracks with Paul Kalbrenner and this kind of artist.
If you had one thing that you could say or do with this time, what would that be?
With this time?
With this time, if you had 20 billion people out there listening to you,
yeah.
What would you say to all these people? What would you do with this time?
Oh, that's a big, tough responsibility.
I ask everybody this.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, everybody.
Interesting.
What would you do with this time that you have?
I wouldn't say anything to promote myself or our industry in any ways. I think this world right now needs way more important things. We need to focus on way more important stuff. And messages of love are, I think, the main focus. We should all try to get along with the things that are happening in the world, the war in Russia, this COVID bullshit.
Ukraine, technically, but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, this thing in Ukraine. But I meant like with the Russian dictatorship aggression or whatever it is.
And I'm gonna say it's Russian aggression because that's what it is.
Since I was a kid, if you're arguing with someone, even if you're right, then if you hit that person, you go wrong automatically. So it doesn't matter where the offense comes from. I don't know where it started. Maybe it's NATO, maybe it's not. But if you hit someone to reply to some bullies or something, then you go wrong.
Exactly.
So I don't know how it started, but what I see who crossed the line first.
Exactly.
And that's when you usually judge people.
Yeah, back home we used to say, talk shit if you want to, just don't touch me.
Exactly.
Because if you touch me, then I have to defend myself. If you're talking shit and I hit you, then that's another story. Then I'm wrong. Because you're just talking. We can talk back and forth for days. But when someone touches you, when someone violates you, your space or your family or whatever it may be, then you have an obligation to react to that. And however you react is how you react.
Sometimes you cannot control yourself.
Exactly.
We're humans. So the baseline, we are still kind of animals inside, you know?
We still got that potential, definitely.
And that's why we have to focus on more positive thoughts and actions. You know, we need to unite each other, especially now that the world always been divided and split apart, but now it's getting even worse. You know, the last 20 years you could travel almost any country, let's say, virtually speaking, and just be safe. Most of the civilized country, at least, you know, now
civilized. All right, so we've been sitting in our new kitchen now. This is the first interview that we've done in this actual location in our new place. I meant to spit some red wine on my shirt. We're gonna try to get that out. I want to thank Valerio.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for coming out today. I appreciate that.
You're really welcome.
Special thanks to Lexi that's behind the cameras as usual. Most of all, thank y'all that's been watching. Thank y'all for tuning in to the 5T Vodcast another time. And yeah, hope to see y'all again. Stay tuned for more. 5T, Techno and Talk, Tuesdays and Thursdays with Ty and Lexi behind the camera.